So one of the favorite Christmas stories in my family is about the time I lost the Christmas tree. So one of our traditions for Christmas is actually go out and cut down our tree out in the forest. And so the way it works is, since I live out in the mountains here in Colorado, we're surrounded by forests. And you can go into the forest ranger and they'll actually give you a permit and they'll tell you which trees they want you to cut down to help, the health of the forest, to help thin the trees they don't want so the other trees can grow. So every year we go out into the woods. So that involves getting in a truck and driving down, 15 minutes down the highway. Then we turn off into the forest and we climb up on this dirt road, which is generally turns to snow and ice. And it's always a little bit scary because there's big drop-offs and there's almost no one out there. And if you get in trouble, it's a little scary if you get stuck or something like that. So that always adds this little extra edge to the whole adventure. But we drive up into the mountains and then we get out and we'll hike through the deep snow, breaking trail. We're off trail out through the woods until looking for the right tree. And, we're looking for a tree that's the right size. It's not too big. It's not too small, and we always try to find one that doesn't have much of a future. It's either growing in the shadow of a bigger tree, so it just doesn't have a future. It's overshadowed by that tree, or maybe it's like in a drainage of a river or a creek, or where the water would run in a flash flood, and so it's sooner or later it's going to get washed away. So the tree doesn't have much future. So we find that tree, the perfect tree. We cut down the tree and then we take it back to the truck, trudging through deep snow, breaking through the snow, get back to the truck. Usually have hot chocolate and cookies when we get to the truck. And then we drive down that icy road, and then we drive home and we put up the tree, and it's all great. So one of the times when my kids were still little, one of the other themes is we get back to the truck and I put the tree in the back of the truck. It's a pickup truck, so I throw it in the back. And my wife is always wanting me to tie it down. And I'm like, we don't need to tie it down. It's in the back of the truck. It's not going anywhere. Famous last words, it's not going anywhere. And so one time we're driving home and, my kids are still fairly little. I don't know, maybe they're 9 years old, 12 years old, or 8 years old and 11 years old or whatever like that. And we're driving along and my daughter, who's the younger of the two, my daughter all of a sudden says, "Hey, the tree's gone." And I'm like, what the tree's not gone. And so we're driving. She's like, "Yeah, it is." And then I'm like, "Tree's not gone." And then my son pokes his head up. He's like, "The tree's gone." And I'm like, "What?" And so I pull over the side of the road. And sure enough, there's no Christmas tree in the back of the truck. And so then I had to turn around and we're driving down the highway, just driving down, sort of scanning for the lost tree. And eventually we found it. I have these visions of someone else driving along and all of a sudden seeing this tree cartwheeling by them. But I don't know if that happened or not. But we found the tree. It really wasn't damaged. We put it in the truck. This time I tied it down. And we forevermore have the story of the time that Dad lost the Christmas tree. And what's really great is that every single time when we go out and get a tree, like we did last weekend, every time we get to revisit that story. And of course, the best part of it is me being completely assured that we don't have to tie down the tree, it's going to be fine. And then when confronted with my daughter telling me that the tree was gone, I was like, "Nah, it's there." So a cherished memory that we get to hear usually when we're driving out to get the tree, I hear it. And usually when we're driving back, I get to hear it again. The time Dad lost a Christmas tree. And it's interesting. For me, Christmas is all about my family and my nuclear family, my wife and my two kids. And we always have a very special, warm time. Christmas Eve, we'll have a whole bunch of people over in our community. And then Christmas Day, it's just the four of us. And I just absolutely cherish that. My kids are adults now, and they still come home to be with us, the four of us, on Christmas. And I know that won't last forever. Sooner or later, they'll have their own spouses, and they'll have their own houses, and hopefully they have their own kids, and will grow their own traditions. And so I know this won't last forever, but while it's lasting, I absolutely cherish every year I get to have this Christmas. So it's interesting because normally I'm very, very aware that I've got people watching my videos from absolutely around the world. And they have every different faith and culture and tradition imaginable. And I'm very aware that many of them, maybe even most of them, don't celebrate Christmas. And so normally I don't put out a Christmas message. I don't put out a lot of holiday messages, period, because I just have people from everywhere in the world. And if you can hear some pounding in the background, that's the snow sliding off my roof, because it's snowing, big snowstorm right now. We're going to have a white Christmas. But so I'm very aware that I've got people from everywhere in the world, and not everyone's celebrating Christmas, so normally wouldn't put out a Christmas message. But this year, Christmas is on a Sunday, and Sunday is the day that I release my blog videos, and every single Sunday. And so it seemed a little weird to put out a video. I had to put it on Sunday, and it seems a little weird to put one out on Christmas and not even acknowledge Christmas. So I thought I'd share that Christmas story. Christmas, it is for me. It's about family, and it's about peace. That's what this holiday boils down to. And no matter what holiday tradition you're celebrating this time of year, or if you're not celebrating any tradition at all, I would, speaking of family, hey baby, I'm shooting a video right now. So I just would wish you peace this time of year, no matter what tradition you're following. And I would also wish forgiveness and acceptance for the world. So we could certainly use more of that these days. So wherever you're watching this, whatever your tradition, I wish you peace. And if you're celebrating Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas. And let's go get them this week.